What up, YouTube? It's your boy Marvel Matter back with another video. And today, what I'm going to talk about is a little bit different than what I usually do. Normally, I come up with a concept for a video and I bring it to you, but today I'm going to do a reaction video to Chris Williamson. He does a podcast where he is very, very interesting. I watch it all the time, and he brings on a lot of different people, and a lot of his topics are about dating, which is right up my alley. So, in this video, he's talking to a psychologist. And the video is called "The Surprising Truth About What Women Find Attractive." Now, there's so many things in this video that align with what I always say, right? I'm not gonna say what they are. I'm gonna just play the video, and as they come through, I'll point them out. But this video is definitely something that resonates with my message and what I say. So here we go.
What do you think guys get wrong about what women find attractive?
Okay, so I did a short study survey on the web about the Giga Chad. I took just one photo. Most people, I think, will know the Giga Chad, this meme. I think he's a very...
Y'all know the Giga Chad, the dude with the big giant chin, and he's got the big brow ridge, and he looks like the manliest man on earth, right? And black pill guys always use him as an example of the ultimate man, the man that if he walked into a room, every girl in the room's panties would drop and they'd throw him at him, and then they'd come and run on him and do what they do to him, right? All at the same time. That's the Giga Chad.
Very handsome guy, but importantly, he's an extremely dimorphic guy, right? His face is extremely masculine, big chin, big brow ridge and everything. So he has an extremely dimorphic face, and he's also considered to be very handsome, at least in these kind of meme subcultures of the black pill. That's why he's called the Giga Chad, because he is kind of the archetype of the most attractive man. So I ran this across a large sample of men and women. Men overwhelmingly rated him as attractive. Women didn't. But at the same time, there was kind of...
I'm gonna stop it right there. This is something I always say, right? You see in this experiment that they did, the Giga Chad by men was rated extremely attractive. Almost all the men were like, yeah, this is the guy. He looks good. I bet he gets so many girls. Get your ass down, man. Always doing this. The guys rated him, super attractive, said he gets all the girls. But when you ask the women if he's attractive, they didn't say so, right? They didn't think he was attractive. This guy that men are sending to each other, like, hey, bro, this is the guy. Forums are made around this guy's image. You know what I'm saying? He almost has a deity-like following, right? But when you ask women, is he attractive? They'll say no. And this is why I always say you can't ask a man to rate how you look. Stop asking men to rate how you look. I get people hitting me up like, hey, bro, can you rate me? And I always say, I don't do ratings because I don't think that as a man, I can tell you if you're attractive to women, because I'm not a woman. I don't see the same things. I'm not looking for the same things. My brain is not wired to be keen to the same things that a woman's brain is in order to decide if they're attracted to you. I don't have that. So I can't, there's no man that can give you that. They can tell you the science, right? If you measure Giga Chad's face with the science, he's gonna have the perfect angle. He's gonna have the hunter eyes. He's gonna have, the perfect, whatever else that it is, like all the features, you can look up the black pill features, everything about his face that is measured perfectly, right? Everything about his face when measured is perfect, but it doesn't matter because women don't find it attractive. And this is another thing, something that I noticed with a lot of guys is a lot of men are more interested in being considered attractive than getting girls. I've even had some callers tell me, and I'm so glad that they realized this themselves, is that they would be like, you know what? There was this weird, for a while, I was just happy getting the looks. I was happy that girls were looking at me. I was happy that girls were, I would have these little interactions with them and I could tell that they like me. It felt so good that they like me. But then every single one of those guys, I actually went through that myself. I used to be in that type of mindset. Now it was a little bit different because I still would get girls, but even the ones I didn't get, I was still satisfied with it. I was like, yeah, they find me attractive though. But it's you eventually get to the point where you're like, I don't care if they find me attractive. If I can't interact with them, if there's no engagement, if I can't, be with them, sleep with them, whatever it is that I want to do, then I don't care. It doesn't matter if they find you attractive, right? So that's, guys need to stop worrying about that. Stop asking other guys to rate you, because even when they rate you, as we see here, first of all, it's an inaccurate rating, but also, even when they rate you, let's say they're right, you still don't get girls, so it doesn't matter, right? It's about more than that. It's about your social skills. It's about your confidence level. It's about the way that you can read women and interact with women and go to the right places and connect and all. It's all of that type of stuff that's going to help you translate that attraction into something, right? Your attractiveness into something. But if you don't do all that, you can be considered attractive and still get no girls. And it might feel good for a little bit, but you're going to get fed up with it. So stop worrying about the rating. Figure out what you need to do in order to do better with women. Back to the video.
You know, it wasn't a distribution where most women, I should say that differently. Most women found him unattractive, but there were some women who found him pretty attractive. At the same time, most men thought he was attractive. So a lot of the time, men kind of get wrong what women like as far as the physical features of men. I wrote another long article reviewing the research in that on facial attractiveness and specifically facial dimorphism, masculine facial features. I think men think that very, very masculine facial features are attractive to women. Usually it isn't the very most dimorphic faces that are the most attractive to women. If you think about a really dimorphic face, it's kind of like a gorilla in a sense. But
I don't know about that one.
It's probably not going to be the least dimorphic face, the least feminine. There's a lot of research on how averageness is attractive. And sometimes when I say that, people think, what do you mean? How can an average face? Certainly average is not attractive, but average in this case means features that are not too extreme, that are symmetrical, that are not too extreme. So those are some things that predict facial attractiveness in any sense.
Right, so there you have it. He said it, he stated it perfectly. Guys can't judge correctly what girls find attractive. That's one of the points that I always make, right? Now, let me find the next point. All right, found it.
Yeah, it is interesting about how the common held wisdom on the internet about what it is that women want. I had a Seth Stevens Davidowitz on the show who wrote Everybody Lies and Don't Trust Your Gut. And in Don't Trust Your Gut, he did a autistic data scientist's approach to optimizing his personal appearance. And he split tested, there's websites where you can do this now, but he actually back-ended this back in the day. He grew a beard, put a photo of him with a beard up. Should I get a beard? Should I have glasses? Should I have my hair short? Should I have my hair long? Should I wear this? Should I wear that? And he basically split tested all of the different iterations of his appearance down to, I should have a beard, wear glasses, blah, 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 this particular like collection of things. And he is now, by his own admission, in a relationship with a girl that he's punching out of his league with.
Aesthetic. Your aesthetic matters. I say this. I have a video on this, right? Your aesthetic matters. This guy, he had a lot of time on his hands and he did it as an experiment, but this is something I suggest. Play around with your aesthetic. Find what works for you, right? Find what's gonna do well for you. He just grew a beard, cut his hair, grew his hair, had glasses, did all types of different things that probably, I'm sure he didn't do everything that he possibly could, but he did things that made sense for him, right? So do things that make sense for you in your aesthetic.
And the reason that that happened, he said, and he has data to back this up, which is that you want to try and make people love or hate the sort of look that you have going forward. You don't want to be everybody's just okay. You want to be some people absolutely go for you. And the same thing goes for personality as well. That he said his girlfriend, maybe even now fiance, before they even got together.
He's gonna say a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter, but that point was very important, right? You don't want to be everybody's okay. So this idea that you're gonna be some guy that all the girls like, it's not realistic, right? It's not realistic. You're gonna have to pick an aesthetic, and that aesthetic is gonna attract certain girls. You can't have every single girl, right? Don't be greedy. Don't try to do it. It's not how it works. Find out the type of girls. First, figure out the type of girls you like, right? Now, see if your natural aesthetic, which you would naturally go for as far as fashion, would attract the type of girl that you want. See if that makes sense, right? Because if it doesn't, it probably isn't gonna be a girl that you actually like, right? If that aesthetic doesn't ring, you know, true to you, then it's probably, once you get with the girls who like that aesthetic, you're probably not even gonna match with them and get along with them, right? It would just simply be because you find them physically attractive. But then you're gonna have personality issues, then you're gonna have, you know, values issues and all these types of things possibly, right? That's my theory on it. But you definitely wanna pick something that's a strong aesthetic so that it really, like, girls wanna be able to type you really quickly. They wanna be able to put you in a box. Like, okay, he's an athlete, he's a musician, he's an artsy guy, he's this, he's that, you know what I'm saying? He's a business guy, he's a finance guy, like they wanna put you in a box, in a quick type so they can, you know, feel like they know something about you. Because when they can't figure out like where to put you, they kind of just like don't know what to think of you, and they might even just overlook you. They might really just like overlook you. They like for you to be a type because they like to date a consistent type. They like to be like, oh, this is my type, right? And when they date outside of their type, it's usually because they're experimenting. They usually just like, okay, well, you know, my type, I've dated this guy, I've given him everything. It didn't work out. Let me try you now. Let me try you typeless guy, right? You're my normal type, right? But let me try you. And this is what happens when you become like, and this is what happens when you don't have an aesthetic and you're just a generic guy. The only time you get a girl is when she's just trying something out. Unless you're just exceptionally handsome, right? Unless you just really look good. She likes your face a lot. You know what I mean? Maybe you're really tall. Maybe you have some type of feature naturally that stands out. Then, you know, you might be able to just be your generic type and still do okay, still do well. But most guys, even if you're handsome, you're probably not that handsome. You probably don't have anything that stands out drastically about you. So you need to put yourself in a type. That way they can easily like associate with you, right? And you want to make it strong, like he said, so that they can really be for you, right? An artsy guy, he's gonna have certain girls that are really into him. The tatted guy that, you know what I'm saying, with the nose ring and the whatever else he has, he's gonna have girls that are like, oh my gosh, I love him. But then he's gonna have certain girls that like a clean cut business guy that are gonna be like, I wouldn't talk to him ever. I would never talk to him, right? It just is what it is. But he doesn't care because he's doing well with women. As far as he's concerned, he's doing well with women. You're not going to get all of them. That's the main thing. Nobody's going to get every single woman. There's going to be women who don't like them. And you'll see even later in this video why that's true.
Was with her friends and talking about being single, and they said, so what are you into? What are you into? What are you into? And they turned to his future girlfriend, said, what are you into? And she says, I just love nerds. I can't say what it is about it. I have such a soft spot for nerds, and that is the kind of guy that I find the most sexy. And sure enough, down the line comes Seth Stephens-Davidowitz, ex-data scientist at Google, and like literally the guy that's just done a spreadsheet to work out how he should look most attractive. But there you go. There's your nerdy guy. Now, certain corners of the internet would say, oh, well, you know, that's just her beta bucks on the way to an alpha fucks solution or whatever it is. I don't know. It seems to be unlikely to me because a lot of the time I've seen guys get into relationships with girls who really love funny men or really love artsy men or really love athletic men or really love whatever. It's not all pointing in this sort of unidimensional, one-directional way of up and across toward hypermasculinity. The higher your testosterone, you're always going to win. Like there's certain universals, symmetrical face, for instance. I've never heard anybody say, you know what it is? I just love an unsymmetrical face. That's not something typically that I've heard. But there are far fewer universalities than I think people would find. And when it comes to guys and advice for guys in dating, I think sticking to some of the absolute undeniable rules and then going, okay, what am I really, really good at? If you're really, really good at being the artsy guy with a hanging earring that can play the guitar, like, lean into being Mr. Guitar Player thing. Or if you're the super funny guy, you know, Pete Davidson's the route to go, whatever it might be, you can become more of what you are. And that to me seems like not only the...
Okay, he's going to say some more stuff, whatever. But like I said, lean into what you already have. This is why I don't tell people how to dress. Like, guys will be like, yo, you should do videos on. I'm like, I can't. Or they'll reach out and be like, okay, what should I? I'm like, bro, I cannot tell you what to do. I can't tell you what to do. I can tell you if you look generic. I can tell you if you need to clean up your beard, if you need to clean up your, if your skin's bad. I can tell you like basic, like he said, universal things. Bad skin, nobody's like, oh, I love that pizza face. That's not gonna happen. If you have bad skin, you need to work on your skin. If you have bad teeth, that's a universal thing. You need to have good teeth. Everybody likes good teeth, right? But as far as, should I grow a beard, should I not? I mean, depends what type of girls do you like. Do you want a girl that likes beards? Do you like girls that don't like beards? Like, what do you, should you grow your hair? Should you cut your hair? Like, that all depends on the type of girls you like. You're gonna attract different girls based on that. So I can't tell you, and nobody else can tell you how to dress, what to do. The best they can do is probably guide you. Once you pick a style, once you pick an aesthetic, maybe help you out with like, okay, this goes really well with that. This is like matching really well. Like, once you're in the aesthetic world, they can help you kind of, refine it. But they can't tell you what your aesthetic should be. They can't tell you all these type of things. You have to figure that out for yourself, right? There's only so much advice you can get. Just like he said, universal things, skin, teeth, hygiene things, that's gonna do well, right? It's always gonna be good. If you have a symmetrical face, like he said, always gonna do good. But if you're a funny guy, don't listen to advice on girls don't like funny guys. You gotta be serious. I did a video on that before about like humor and funny guys being a type of guy that girls like, and people were saying no, they don't. I'm like, yes, they do. There are girls who love funny guys. There are girls who like, I need my man to be funny. I need to laugh at what he says. We all like. It's a fact. It might not work for you because you're not funny, right? It might not work for me. It might not work for this guy, but for that guy, it's gonna work because he's funny. He's genuinely funny. He genuinely has a upbeat personality. He's genuinely charismatic in that way. So it's gonna work for him. And if that's you, lean into that. Lean into whatever it is that you do best. You know what that is, so lean into it.
Smartest route to go down in terms of being effective with women, but it's also the route down which you're going to feel like less of a fraud. And this was something else that you've brought up with, which
that point too, like I said, your values are not going to align with those girls. That if you fake the funk, if you go into an aesthetic that has nothing to do with you, right? You never played a sport in your life, but then you want to be like an athlete all of a sudden and get the girls that like athletes. When they talk to you, they're going to be like, something's not lining up. He's not athletic. He's not an athlete. He's not how athletes usually are, right? Because that's not you. That's not really you. You're a musician. Be the musician, right? Play the guitar, get the earring. Lean into that. Get the cool hairstyle. You know what I'm saying? Lean into that. That's you. Don't force it just to get girls like that. Don't do that. I'm gonna skip ahead to another point that I thought was really interesting.
Certainly. So what you mentioned about attractiveness, let me comment on that and then go to the pickup, because there's two interesting topics. So a lot of research on facial attractiveness up to this point has looked at how much people agree on attractive faces. And when you look at inter-rater correlations across a whole group on attractiveness, they seem really, really high. You can get correlations between like 0.6 and 0.9 for facial attractiveness ratings, which makes it seem like, oh man, people really agree on what an attractive face is. And it's true if you look at that metric. If you look within that metric, if you run an ICC correlation and you look at pair ratings, the correlation is much, much lower. It can be about 0.2 to 0.3 or something.
You're going to have to explain what you're talking about here.
Certainly. So if you take a big group of people and you have them rate a face and you look at their ratings, then you'll get a correlation that seems very, very high. Like most people agree on what an attractive face is. If you take two individual people out of that group at random and you look at their correlation, and then you take two more out of that group at random and you look at their correlation, and then you compute that, you'll say, wow, people don't really agree at all. There's actually a lot of variation on an attractive face.
So basically what he's saying is, if you ask a large group of people, hey, is that face attractive? Most people will be like, yeah, that's an attractive face. That's an attractive face. But if you put two people together, two random people, and you put a face in front of them and you say, is that face attractive? You will get less people agreeing on the face being attractive, right? Which means there's a lot of subjectivity on the individual level. Overall, yeah, we kind of all know, yeah, that's an attractive face. That's not so much of an attractive face. But when you ask individuals, which is who you would be dating, the girl that you're messing with, the girl that you want to talk to, the girl that you like, is an individual. She's not a group, right? So you need to deal with her as an individual. So you may be attractive to this, so you may not be attractive to a lot of the girls that you've tried to talk to, but this girl might find you attractive. So you can't really get too bogged down in what people say, right? And what people say about you. Like I always say, take your experience, right? And use it to your advantage, right? If you have people telling you you're handsome, if you have people telling you all this type of stuff, take that, use that confidence, use that as a spark for your confidence and go into the world, trust your experiences, right? But on the flip side, I will admit here, I'm gonna expand what I say. If your experiences are not helpful to you, understand that that doesn't mean nobody will find you attractive. That doesn't mean that nobody will find you attractive. There will be some people that do find you attractive. He's gonna explain more in the video how that kind of works, but that's the case, right? Nobody on earth has everybody thinking that they're unattractive. No, I'm not saying nobody on earth, there's some people. But most people on earth are not gonna have everybody thinking that they're unattractive. But he'll explain that more.
Paper, I think it's from 2016, maybe it's a little older, by a researcher named Honeycutt, and he plots it out on a plot. And he says, okay, so here are all the actual faces, and here's the highest rating and the lowest rating. And almost every face, regardless of how attractive it was, got a really high rating and a really low rating. I recently ran a survey, I have it up on the website now. I took faces from the Chicago Face database, and I selected these faces, male and female faces, to be kind of below attractiveness. And about all of these faces got about 25% of people that said, okay, that face is good enough, I would date it, even though they were all kind of unattractive faces, as far as pre-ratings went. The pre-ratings, highly correlated. The ratings that people gave, the participants, highly correlated within each other and to these pre-ratings. So people all kind of agreed on the attractiveness of these faces, even across different questions that I asked, like how attractive are these relative to the population? How attractive do you find them? At the same time, if you go through all of these faces, every single one of these faces had people that rated it like, you know, a Likert scale, 1 through 7, 7 most attractive. Every single face had at least someone who said it was a 7, a 6, a 5. So there is a great deal of individual variation in an attractive face. Even if most people agree that a face is unattractive, there's still going to be a pretty large cohort that says, you know, I actually kind of like that face.
Right, exactly what I just said. So basically, he did an experiment where he took people who were considered unattractive by a group, right, pre-rated, and then he gave those faces to a new group, and he had that group rate the faces, right, and they got around the same score. They were highly correlated between the two groups, the ratings of the faces. But if you look at the ratings, the actual ratings individually, even these people who are considered unattractive by this group and this group had individual people, 25% of the individual people who said, I would date that person. That person's attractive to me. They look good. I'm rating them a 7, right? So even within a group of people who don't think you're attractive, there are individuals who will think you're attractive. And this is why you gotta find what works for you. You gotta do what works for you. You gotta figure out what works for you. Don't pay attention to so much of what's online. Do not fall into that black pill. Do not fall into the idea that, oh, it's over for me because one girl rejected you. There are guys out here who are not putting in the proper effort. They're not trying, and they're feeling rejected when they're not trying. They're feeling like hopeless, but they haven't tried to actually engage. They haven't really done anything, put in any work in order to do well with women. People will say, you shouldn't put in work for women. It's cap. We're here to mate. We're here to reproduce. It's our driving force, right? It's what people are here to do, is procreate, be fruitful and multiply, right? That's what we're here to do. So it's like that, talking about acting like we don't want women or like we're not improving ourselves for women. You don't want to make it solely about women. Yes, you want it to be for you. You're going to get other benefits from it. It's going to be positive for you, but that is a part of it. So if you haven't put in the work to help yourself with women, you're going to suffer psychologically. You're not going to feel well. I've said this before. There's a difference between choosing not to engage with women and not being able to engage with women, not being able to attract women, not being able to mate with women, to sleep with women, to get women to love you, to care about you, to, you know what I'm saying, to like you. There's a difference between not choosing not to deal with that and not being able to. When you're not able to, you're not going to feel good about yourself psychologically. It's not going to be a good experience for you. Other areas of your life are going to suffer. So you need to do the proper work, put in the proper effort in order to have more success or some type of success with women. Your presentation, aesthetic, all that type of stuff, you need to work on it. Skin, teeth, hair, all of it. You need to work on that. You need to do something about that. Your social skills, right? You need to go out and practice those. You need to talk to women. Be cool with women. The women that you talk to, ask them questions, engage. See what they think, see how they think. Ask them for advice. I'm not saying take their advice, but see what they say. See how women think, understand them, that type of stuff. The more you talk to them, right, the more understanding you'll have. You can get a little bit of confidence from that understanding. Take that little bit of confidence, go out and use it. Go out and use it. Talk to a girl, ask a girl out. I had a caller, and you know, obviously I'm not gonna say the name or anything, but he's had trouble with girls. And I asked him, well, when's the last time you asked a girl out? And he hadn't. He had never asked a girl out. And it's like, well, okay, bro, that's an easy fix. You know what I mean? That's an easy fix. All you gotta do is just, like, we don't even know if you have trouble with girls because you haven't actually asked the girl out. You haven't actually, you know, done what you need to do in order to even give a possibility of that happening, of you doing well with girls. So just go and ask them out. You know what I mean? And it's the same, like, I'm sure that he's not the only one. I'm sure there's a lot of guys who are like that, who it's like, when you look at what you've actually done, it's not really much. So you can't really expect success. You're not just going to walk outside and girls are just going to run up to you. You're not a celebrity. You know what I mean? So it's like, you have to put yourself out there, is basically what I'm saying. And don't let your idea of attraction get in the way. Hopefully this video put into perspective how attraction actually works. It's very subjective. You could meet 10 girls in a row that don't think you look good. That 11th girl is in love when she sees you. All right, fellas, so that's the video for today. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know if y'all want more reactions. Somebody told me they would like to see a reaction video, and I wanted to do it anyways. I thought it would be interesting. It gives me more to talk about. I get to show you guys the science without, you know, me bro sciencing it. This is the actual science with the actual data. So I feel like it's going to be really helpful if I do more of these. So yeah, drop in the comments if you like it. I got my coaching calls in the description box, Instagram in the description box, and y'all know what it is. It's mind over matter, marvel over matter. Let's get it.